Hi, welcome to Chris Cook for You Too. Tonight I'm going to be doing another old family recipe, and it's oxtails and beef soup. That's oxtails and beef soup. Now we're gonna have, and I know that oxtails, they do come from the cow, so I know that's already beef, but I'm also gonna have some chunks of beef in it. That's why I separated the two names. So I'm gonna get started on that in a minute, but I also want to tell you something else. Tonight I'm going to be doing a review, and over the next 5 days, whether I do it online or not, I'm going to be doing a review for Phenomenal Foods by Chef Holly 33. Now, she is a professional chef, so she does have a title. Her site is Chef Holly 33. It will be in captions at the bottom of my page. She has sent me some of her essential seasonings, and I'd like to do a review on it. Now, I'm not just going to do the review tonight, because tonight I'm using it as an additive. Sometimes over the next 5 days I will use it on foods, but it will be the only source of seasoning when it comes to, I'm going to do lobster tails online. So when I do the lobster tails and when I do the lamb chops, I'm going to do lamb chops, and those two particular items, it will be the only seasoning that I will use. Tonight I'm going to use it as an added seasoning to what I'm preparing when I prepare the oxtail and beef soup. Now, I would like for you to go over to her channel, because she is, not only is she a professional, she has a way of doing things that just really brings elegance and style to the table. So I think that it would be good if you want to learn how to really prepare your dishes and add style to the plate. She would be the channel to go to. So before I actually put the seasoning out, I want to try it on every version she talks about, and her channel is set up as being Phenomenal Foods by Chef Holly, and she does have a phenomenal channel, but this is my first time of reviewing it, so I want to try it across the board. I want to make certain that I can use it in some of my dishes where there are texts where it's used as an additive, and then I can use it in some of my dishes when that is the main seasoning that's going down on the plate, or on the meat. So let's get started with this. Now, here I have some water that's already started to just simmer or smoke. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to add some celery, some carrots, and some onions. Now, why am I adding this so early? Because I want this to cook apart. I don't want there to be any traces of these vegetables that I'm putting inside of the pot. I don't want it to be any traces of that when I get ready to actually make the soup. What I'm really doing with that is I'm using it as a source of flavor. To that, I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of fire roasted tomatoes. I'm going to add combined white, black, and crushed pepper with some paprika, and it's it'll be altogether, it'll work out to be 1 tablespoonful. I'm going to add 1/2 tablespoon of minced garlic along with the juice. And this is not minced garlic that I minced. This is minced garlic that I bought in a container. And to that, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of Chef Holly's essential seasonings. And it has a very good smell to it. While I can recognize some of the seasonings that was in it, don't know everything that's in it, and I don't really want to know. If this works out to be very well, I will be ordering these seasonings from her, and I would encourage you to do the same. Now, I'm going to add my chunks of beef. These are just my chunks of beef. And my oxtails. Now, it's going to take about the same amount of time for all of this to cook down. I have already washed it, cleaned it, and I had it sitting here waiting to put into the pot. Now, this is quite a bit of meat. okay? Because it's the end of the year, and mainly what I was trying to do, everything that I had down into my main freezer, I wanted to get it out and use it. So, and I don't think we're gonna make it. As you see, I still have some oxtails, and I still have some pieces of beef chunk that's actually left over in here. So maybe I'm just gonna bag this up and use it for another time, or I could get a bigger pot. Either way, this is going to take roughly about, I'm going to let this cook for about at least an hour and a half before I add anything else. So after this cooks down for an hour and a half, and what will really happen is all of the water will begin to cook out of this pot. So you'll be left with only the seasoning, the taste of the seasonings that's going to have penetrated my meat. So what I'm going to do is put a top on this. And I'm going to allow this to cook for an hour and a half, and I'll get back to you. And we'll see just how everything works out at that point. Okay, I'm back. So let's just take a look at where the beef oxtails and the beef pieces are. Okay? It's about a little bit over halfway through the cooking process. So I'm going to add a few more ingredients. One, this is two cubes from, I think I told you before that I take my chicken stock and I freeze it when I have some left over, freeze it into cubes, and then I just use them as needed. So that's just 2 of the ice cubes chicken stock cubes. And they set on the stove for so long, they just unthawed. And you can just drop them in if they're frozen, or you can drop them in if they're thawed. It really don't make a difference. Now I'm going to add my tomato paste. And that's about 3 tablespoons full. Okay. I'm going to add a can of tomatoes. Now, you know, tomatoes work great as a tenderizer. Now, I'm also going to add 2 tablespoons of sugar. And it won't sweeten it, it'll more or less balance it. Use something different here. I love my wooden spoon too. Okay. Now, in about another 10 minutes, I'm going to add my okra. Then in about 10 minutes after that, I'm going to add my potatoes, cubed potatoes, and my cubed carrots that I have over there. They're a little bit better than cubed. They're more kind of like roughly chopped. Then I'm going to add corn, green beans, lima beans, and more corn. I'm going to add that to it, but it all has to be everything does not cook the same, so it has to be a little at a time. So we're going to let this cook a little bit more, and it hasn't developed that thickness that we're really looking for, but it will. So we're going to let this cook a little bit longer. Then I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients just as I told you, and then I'll get back. Hi, we're back, and the oxtail beef soup is ready, so let's take a look at it. Okay, now I did make a skillet of cornbread to go with it because this is old school eating and this is really comfort food, so I wanted to make certain that I had the right thing to go with it. Let me just remove this top. And I didn't want that to be crackers. Now, if you look into soup, okay, there it is. It's real hearty. I did have to change the pan because the pan was very small, so I changed it to something bigger. And I did add some noodles to it as well, okay. So, and of course, you know, I added my secret spice, which is the Lipton onion soup mix. So now, and that's at the very end. So now, if you look at it, this is the consistency that we're looking for, and it's still bubbling because I haven't turned it off. But in here you have corn, you have green beans, you have string beans, you have noodles, you have carrots, you have you have okra. So you have everything, and okra is what gave it its richness. Okay, and like I told you, the other vegetables in the beginning, I wanted to just get them to, you know, pull apart, disintegrate, so to speak, so that it would be, it would add the flavoring. And then the rest of the vegetables, I wanted them to be with the soup. So I'm going to dish up some just to show you how it is. And I did add, you know, we added Holly's Essential Seasonings. So I'm going to also let you know just how that worked out in this dish. Now, this dish is way too hot for me to be trying to eat it right now. Okay, so we got bits of beef and we have bits of oxtails. Okay, and as you can see, I have my cornbread down on the side. So this is our oxtail beef soup with cornbread. I hope you try this recipe. This is really comfort foods, and we do have a new spice in there, which is Chef Holly's secret seasoning or essential seasonings. That's what we used inside of it tonight. So we'll see how it tastes, and over the next 5 days I will be using that. That's all we have for you tonight, and as always, thank you for watching Chris Cook for You Too. Bye.